Upwards of 500K per year, and women have been doing this for free. Hi, ladies, welcome back to my channel where we talk about how women can have their cake and eat it too. I'm your host, Nadeen, and I'm on a mission to rebuild the village women once had so we can have important conversations and share knowledge. If you want to become your most evolved self and create a life that feels as good as it looks, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything. Did you know that if being a wife and mother were a paid job, they would make about 150K or more per year? Yeah, it's crazy. And it's pretty common knowledge that high net worth families outsource home management tasks and duties. And these people have official job titles like the chief of staff or house managers. They are the people managing household schedules, appointments, all the hiring and firing and management of home staff like landscapers, handymen, chefs, drivers, contractors, nannies, and housekeepers, etc. They are also the ones keeping track of the household operating budgets. They do bookkeeping, home inventory. They also do party planning, even walking the dog or babysitting when necessary, okay? No task is too big or too small. They are the ones managing all of the moving parts. And you know what this all awfully sounds like? Women's domestic labor. Except chief of staffs get paid between 150K to 500K a year, depending on the families they work for. The housekeepers, who are only responsible for cleaning, get paid. The nannies, who are only responsible for children, get paid. And you know what stay at home moms, working moms, or even girlfriends get? Zero pay and rarely any recognition. So, as always, we don't gatekeep, so let's step into it. So, why is it that if you do the exact same work in a more professional setting, one could make well into the six figures, but if you perform the same exact work in a domestic setting, you don't? Well, it's because women's domestic labor is largely unpaid and most often underappreciated. According to the UN Women's Report, women perform over 75% of unpaid domestic labor globally. And if valued, that labor would contribute $10.8 trillion dollars annually to the economy. And this is the beef I have with traditional relationships. A lot of people think when I say to find yourself a kind, provider minded man, they think I'm talking about regressing to some 1950s definition of a relationship where the man works and the woman stays home and does everything else. Absolutely not. Being provider minded means he understands that he provides emotionally, physically, and where he can financially. If he's only providing finances in exchange for domestic labor, that is indentured servitude. But wait, before you get mad at me and say, well, Nadeen, I want to be a housewife and I want to take care of my man while he works. Just let me finish. A job is a 9 to 5, okay? And he has weekends. But being a mom and a wife who is expected and required, keyword required, to cook, clean, and take care of the kids as the primary parent and take care of the husband, that's a 24/7 thankless unpaid job that has no days off. And of course, there are women happy in more traditional relationships who feel like better him working than me, and they gladly cook and clean out of appreciation, care, and love for her man. But if you really observe their relationship, their men still contribute at home. He still fixes things. He still helps keeps things as organized as possible. He doesn't try to create more work for her. He doesn't treat her like a maid. He still steps in when she needs a break, and he's still planning dates and vacations. He's still an active parent after work and on weekends, and that's because he understands his role as a husband and as a man who loves his woman. He's not letting the woman he is committed to sharing his life with struggle. The intention and starting point is from a place of partnership and love. A 2022 study found that marriages are most stable when husbands take on at least 40% of household labor instead of expecting their wives to do everything, because what matters most is shared intent and empathy. And that's the difference between men who only provide financially, come home, lay on the couch, and do nothing, just waiting to be served, or the ones who create a mess and leave cups and clothes around the house because he thinks he has a maid at home who will pick up after him, or the ones who get so viscerally upset when the wife just needs a break and some self care time. These are the men who don't recognize that being a stay at home wife or mom is actually more than a full time job. They think since she is at home all day, she has all the time in the world to do everything and anything. And at the end of the day, they get upset feeling like she's still not doing enough. Men who expect you to take care of everything in exchange for his financial provision will always feel imbalanced or upset because nothing you do will ever be enough. And he will always feel like the money he provides is the greatest and only contribution he needs to make in the relationship. Respectfully, but also disrespectfully, this is actually worse than a 50-50 relationship. And people get mad when I say that. And let's talk about working moms or even girlfriends. First of all, why are you giving wifey benefits as a girlfriend? This is also why I don't believe in 50-50 relationships. Because working mothers and girlfriends often take on household responsibilities even when they don't stay at home. The cooking, the cleaning, the planning, the mental gymnastics and coordinating, plus the emotional load of the relationship. Even in dual income households, women spend an average of 2.5 times the amount of time on childcare and housework than men. And if they have kids, who do schools usually call if the kids are sick? The mom. Who's planning after school activities? The mom. Who's rushing to do school pickup? The mom. Regardless if she is at work or not, she is the default parent. And I do recognize that a lot of men are doing more and reconstructing what fatherhood means and are taking on more parenting responsibilities. But even to this day, we praise men for being great fathers because he took his kids to the park to play or he showed up to a school event. It is his job as a parent to be there for his kids. Or men like that TikTok guy who says to his wife, just tell me what you need me to do and I'll do it. That's also part of the problem. Women don't want to delegate. They want active participation in the relationship. I saw a TikTok recently of this mom who collects payment every time her husband asks her where something is.
Every time you ask me for something, you need to put $5 in here. I'm trying to help you better locate things in our house.
And another TikTok showing a woman getting paid each time her man forgets to put his clothes in the hamper or dishes in the sink.
If my husband leaves his clothes beside the hamper and I am the one to pick them up and put them back in, or if he leaves a dish beside the sink and I'm the one who puts it in the sink, I don't complain about it. I just tally it up, and at the end of like 2 weeks or the month, I send him an invoice.
And the comments are really split, half and half. Half the people think it's a great idea and half are outraged thinking this is ridiculous. It was supposed to be a lighthearted, funny video, but the premises of it is very real. Are women raising adult man children? Are women being treated like free housekeepers and maids? Are women expected to just do all of these things while the expectations for men remain low and unchanged? Because there is no such thing as a 50-50 relationship. There is no way to split finances, household responsibilities, kid responsibilities, relationship responsibilities, biological responsibilities exactly down the middle. A man who deeply loves and respects you will never agree to 50-50, maybe some sort of split on finances based on his financial circumstances, but emotionally, mentally, and physically, he will want to give you more. And if he's the type who's hung up on how everything is perfectly split, trying to emphasize what is fair, he fails to see the value you bring as a woman. And guess what? When you're a girl growing up in this kind of family and you're raised to equate your worth to how much you actively do for a man, especially as eldest daughters or high achieving women, it becomes really easy to confuse being needed with being valued. But a real healthy relationship isn't about how much you can do for him. It's about how safe you feel to rest around him. This is not a call to say you have to date and marry men who are in the top 1% who can give you a lavish lifestyle and you don't have to work a day in your life. I mean, if that is what you want, then go for it. But it is a call for you to choose men who show their love for you through their actions. Choose men who are willing to give to you. And you also need to decide how much you want to give to him. And the greatest relationships are when those two attributes complement each other. But always remember that as a woman, you bring intrinsic value to any man you're with. Choose someone who doesn't want to see you struggle, who truly supports you, who doesn't mind when you need to take a break and rest, who tries his best to care for you and the family. Because the truth is, a relationship can't be 50-50. It's 100 energy. And the right man will never let you do it all alone. So ask yourself this. If you were paid $50 an hour for every task you do at home, every mental coordination project, How much are you saving your partner or your family in labor costs? And how much of that are you actually being appreciated for? And I know the urge to shy away from such a calculation, but if you are feeling underappreciated, doing this may give you a sense of purpose and a higher self esteem. And in doing so, maybe you can encourage others as well. What you do matters because you matter, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise. That's all the kick I have for you today. And if you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment to share your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next video.